Almost 3.5 years ago, I started my dream park. And well, we're now 3.5 years later. I haven't built on this for well, almost 1.5 years. And actually a few months ago, I uploaded the full series of my dream park. But since then, I got a lot of questions of actually touring this park and showing all the POVs, which I haven't done. So in this video, we'll be looking at the 5 roller coasters. So we'll talk about some hidden things and some little facts. So let's just get straight into riding all of these coasters and touring the park. So yeah, I started this park in 2021 in September. Some of these builds are very old, and well, we've gotten of course a lot of updates and a lot of changes since then. So some things might be outdated. This park was also sadly never finished, mainly because of the new updates, but there are still some areas that are finished. So yeah, we're just going to have a look. We'll go through the order of when I built them. So I did actually start with the castle, and well, after all of these years, I actually still think it looks pretty decent. It's, well, of course you can see it's not great. I think this was even built before we got a resize too, so that's how old it is. But yeah, this dragon was built by someone else. I tried building a dragon, but that went just extremely bad. So yeah, I get it. Of course, I did help a little bit with like some feedback and stuff, but yeah, this looks amazing with me riding on it. And I do think it's still for what I wanted to do. I'm extremely happy with it. Like just a roller coaster going around the castle. It was just very unique, and I think it actually worked quite good. Now the insides, I just really hate. It is the most random thing ever since this water. It just doesn't make any sense at all, and it's also just extremely dark and actually just kind of ugly. I don't know what I was doing like 3 years ago when deciding to build this. There's also a little room right here, which of course, well, you go in here and there's actually like some dragon eggs, which I don't even think you see inside the coaster. So guys, well, we're in the coaster. Well, let's have a look at the POV. Okay, there we go. I actually still think it's a pretty decent roller coaster. It's definitely not smooth, but I also, again, if I'm correct, this was built before we got like the updated coaster smoothing stuff. But yeah, there's actually some small things that you can't really see in the POV that I did actually make, which I will tell you something about, which is actually in the castle. So in here we got like this little room. I'm not really sure why I ever really built that. I think it was like supposed to like a bedroom, and then all of these rooms were supposed to be like a kitchen and maybe like something else, but I just never got around of doing that. Like just never. And it's like you can actually go through the whole thing. I might be stuck now. So yeah, just one of those other things that just never finished. And well, yeah, that basically is the first roller coaster of, well, my dream park. So we'll just go to the left. We're going to skip the low poly area for now. We'll do that at the end. So if you want to watch this amazing dive coaster, make sure to keep watching until the end. It actually has some pretty cool inside dark scenes. So we have this massive like foresty area. Now keep in mind, this was like my dream park. I don't really know why I built that. I guess this was just like something I would really like to see in real life. Yeah, like an indoor area here, like a drop tower and this massive loop, which actually turned out pretty good. It's actually, well, coming right here. It is actually going quite quick, but yeah, this looks amazing. I really like the lighting in here. And then we got this very big like magical valley. I think that was sort of like the idea behind it. And well, yeah, there's a lot of, well, track going around. There's a big waterfall, which looks interesting with all the all the water emitters, but the only way to get to the station is through the portal. I never made an actual like walkway up here. Now don't question me why, but I guess I just never figured out how to actually make it up here, which I kind of understand, and I just didn't feel the need. Also don't actually remember what the ends or exit is, but well, yeah, let's here's the coaster. Let's have a look at the POV. And after all of these years, I actually still think it holds up pretty good. There's definitely like some weird transitions into some of the inversions. Again, that was mainly because this coaster was half made with the old 2 and the new 2, since I think I built this with the old 2 and then I redid parts when we got like the new smoothing options and stuff. But yeah, we have to talk about this part up here, which is just by far my favorite part, probably of actually the whole park. This view here was just always supposed to be like the wow effect, which I actually think like the castle and like the other area in the distance, it just works really, really good. And apart from like the twister ride in here, there isn't much going on actually in this area. It's just a lot of nature and trees and rocks and stuff. It's definitely too much. I should have added a lot more like houses and some other stuff, but I just don't think I really felt like doing any of that. It just took too much time. The train actually was built later. Kinda goes for everything, which isn't really finished. I think it even like stops. Oh no, it actually goes there. It goes on the ground. Yeah, well, let's then actually go through the next area, through like this actual like way we go here. Now this is the port area, and I actually think this was a very unique idea that I had. I mainly got this idea because my dad works actually in the port and stuff, so that's kind of why I built it at the start. But yeah, these containers, they're all completely wrong, since they only have like one side of like the thick bar, not two like they should be. But I guess it doesn't really matter. All of these containers were built before copy and paste, so everything you see here is built by hand, piece for piece for piece. Basically this whole park is, since we didn't have copy and paste. So yeah, that's why some of this, well, took a lot longer than it should have been. And that's also why it kind of was very demotivating with this park, is when we got copy and paste. Stuff like this would have taken maybe an hour, maybe two. I make one container, few colors, finished. This took me days to make. All of these containers, all of the cranes, it's a lot. This area actually got a few more flat rides. I am still really happy with this flat ride, with all the pipes and like also the stuff under here. It just does really, really work. Yeah, let's just walk through here. I never finished the ship, mainly because I just never really knew how to build this part in the back. I am still very actually proud of the shape of the boat, like the bottom of it, that worked actually really good. And just like this being hauled up as like the support is really, really nice. They're not the most detailed things, but I think back then this was actually pretty decent. Now let's go in the station, which, well, the queue actually is I would say little themed. I'm not really sure why the containers do look like this, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, the station itself, I never finished this. I'm going to be honest, I never finished any of that. Well, here we are. Then let's also have a look at this POV. There we go. That is actually a lot of fun. Fun fact actually about this roller coaster and this type. This was the very, very first time I built this roller coaster type, like the inverted 4-seater. I never built that before that, since I was just always too scared of building it. I never knew how, and to be fair, it's definitely like different than how they will be in real life. But I still think it's actually a really fun roller coaster, and this is probably like the best looking area. It's not 100% finished, but yeah, I think this one had the most potential for actually what it could be, and I would love to actually like revisit maybe one day some sort of like themed area like this, since it's very unique. Alright, well now we go to the area that sadly does not exist anymore. This was built basically in one episode and then it was removed again. This area was going to be a extreme spinning coaster themed to like Arabian-ish houses. Again, I scrapped this idea because we did not have any copy and paste to, and I could not build well, probably like 50, 60 of the same houses, all by hand, over and over again. Like, I could do it, but just for the video, there's no point. Like, I could not make 4 episodes basically doing the exact same, and I didn't have the time to build 2 weeks on the same thing. So yeah, these are some of the trees I use. But what you now are going to see is sort of like a combination of getting the copy and paste tool, and then, well, also first building it without copy and paste tool. So yeah, all of these, I first built a lot of trees and other things and this whole area basically. And then halfway through, I got a copy and paste tool. So I could actually use that halfway through some of the cactuses. These trees are all copy and paste. Well, you can see they're all grouped. So that actually what made it a lot better, same as like some of these supports. And I think this area, is my favorite actually from the park. Sadly, I just never really knew what to do with this area in the back. I think it was first planned to be like a, well, powered coaster, if that ever came. But, well, that came like literally 2 years later, so that never really came from it. And, well, yeah, I just really like the drop of like the dive coaster itself. It goes, well, basically through the spikes here. There it comes. Very nice. Actually, it doesn't go that quick, and then it comes out of the pyramid. It is a very short layout, but I don't know, it just really worked, and it will be like a bridge going over here. This area was very difficult to make, since it actually wasn't a lot of room, what I first had in mind. Yeah, the queue itself also isn't the best. I do really like the station of this. It's like some sort of like bases or like thingy. It's just very low poly. Nothing is like textured. Everything is just made of plastic. Well, the roller coasters here. Let's have a look at the final POV of this theme park. A very short but powerful layout, I would say, and that is basically what I all have in this theme park. There's also the entrance, which I don't know what I was thinking. If I'm going to be honest, this I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, that is just kinda what my dream park is. And now you might ask, Simon, why did you actually quit with this theme park? Well, I can actually tell you the biggest reason was that we got the bigger plots. Now, if we go all the way around here, we start to have this problem. All of this land, the whole park around it, just got bigger, and I just hated how it looked. And also, of course, on top of like the new updates, new copy and paste to the selection stuff, like all of that just made stuff so much better and quicker, and the quality could be so much better that I just lost motivation. But yeah, just the park being so much smaller than actually cool, and well, this whole big thing around it, I could never actually make this look like something, since it doesn't work. There's no space for it. That is basically the biggest reason why my dream park stopped. This is the end for like the dream park world series, like sort of like the what I want to do with this. No, I am definitely planning to do some sort of like series where I build stuff I really like in the future again. Now, when that comes, I don't know, might be actually already very soon, since I do really start to work on a new park with some of the ideas that I have. But I can certainly not tell you more about that yet, since I have to wait maybe for some pieces in the game that I really want to use. But that is it for now. If you enjoyed this video and the POVs, make sure to leave a like and subscribe on my channel. If you want to see more of my videos, well, the whole playlist is in the description, and also the whole video that's 7.5 hours long is also in the description. And if you want to see how we played hide and seek in my dream park about like a year ago, that video will also be in the description. So guys, I want to thank you so much, and I will say, as always, goodbye.